because people like to focus on the new and shiny things, right? The TikTok, okay, like TikTok's flying, let's do that, and then it's just like that shiny object syndrome. But email has continued to be a cornerstone of internet marketing for God knows, is it 30 years now, 25 years? So there's always going to be people saying it's dead to try and capture attention, but you know, I'm doing well with it, you're doing well with it, so let them talk.
Do you think it's just thinking about that as well? It's like some people say when you don't get engagement on your social media content, it's because your content's crap. You know, it's fair to say that people who moan and bitch about the fact that the open rates of emails, or you know, the quality of email that is being, you know, the quality of their open rates or the quality of their engagement in the emails, are they basically just sending crap emails?
Yeah, I mean, well, that might be a bit blunt, but deliverability matters a lot. So, you know, if they're not getting good open rates, it might be that there's been a problem with deliverability. They've been too spammy and they're going into the promotion folder or the spam folder. Yeah. But ultimately, what dictates everything is that you're sending highly relevant topics and information to people that's conducive to why they signed up to your list in the first place. And if they're getting that and it's good, they will open, they will engage. And there is one other thing as well. You do need to continually be putting leads into your list, because there will be a slow decline over time in just people, their interests wane over time, you know.
Yeah, you and I have spoken about this for a little while, because I haven't been running any Facebook ads on the coaching side more than anything else, but we're constantly running ads on the brokerage side, and that is bringing new people in. And one of the things, you know, that I teach within the academy, and you've done a training for me in the academy for those guys as well, is that power of social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever it is. They're all fantastic, but they're absolutely top of the marketing funnel, so to speak. They're in the AIDA model. That's the awareness point of thing. You know, if someone's interested in your content, what's the next thing that you want them to do? Well, the next thing you want them to do is to get on your freaking email list, because at least then you've got the name, the number, you know, potentially contact details. You've got some data around, you know, who they are, what they're doing, why they're doing it, and that kind of stuff. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen it over time. All it takes is one algorithm change, and you know, that huge following that you like worked your socks off to try and get, that's gone overnight. But with email, you own the data, so you know, you're in a much stronger position.
Yeah. So what do you think is, you know, the most powerful thing about converting a mortgage client, for example? You know, we've just gone through, for, you know, to give people context, John and I have just gone through, and we have multiple entry points on our new website that we've just launched. And we've got ebooks that people can download. We've got brochures that people can get. We've got written assets that help to build the brand and build the relationship for us, that people want to exchange a name and a phone number for. We get way more of those downloaded and interaction than we do someone who's literally submitting, "Speak to me now." You know, so it's like step one for us is getting them onto the email list through whichever means we can. And then step two is then being able to utilize the emails to sell them on the benefit of booking a call and having a conversation. And we've worked that in that way. So we've got automated sequences to engage with the relationship. And then we've got, you know, a very short form, just a testimonial link for when somebody inquires. But when you think about what you've just done for us, John, and how you've worked with, you know, the brokerage side, what have been some of the key things that you think are vital when speaking to a mortgage person who isn't necessarily now, could be getting prepared for 6, 9, 12, 18 months time? Where does email fit into that side of it?
So the kind of key thing that we do in Active is try and overcome those objections. So you've got to take them from where they are, probably not very sophisticated in their general understanding of mortgages, might feel like that they can still go to their bank, and then that's the best route as a self-employed person. But then it's kind of bridging that gap and taking them on that journey and telling them, okay, like, it's really difficult getting a mortgage as a self-employed person. And your chances of success are going to be higher if you work with a specialist like Active. And so you're just working out those kind of things that are stopping them taking action, and you're putting communication in place to help overcome those objections they have. And it's like just a kind of education process, you know.
Yeah, I hear you. That makes total sense to me. And it's for someone who's a bit like me, prefers video and doesn't consider themselves to write very well. And when they do write something, it takes 45 minutes to write what would take 3 minutes to do on a video because I have to check it a million times. Yeah. Well, you know, you've read my WhatsApp messages, skip words left, right, and center, and have to reread them, and they don't make any sense at all. You know, if someone's thinking about working with you or somebody else, what's the key thing that you look for in that person?
So, especially if like it's a personality brand, or there's like someone who's at the front of the business, like even you are or have been instrumental in building Active in that way. It's one of the biggest challenges that I know people have in finding that someone to write copy is getting someone who can understand their voice. Because all of a sudden someone else comes in and they're writing in their own voice, and then everyone, you know, the audience can feel that. So you have to see evidence that they've been able to write in different voices in the past. And I think that's like a big key thing, because otherwise there's going to be that disconnect, and people are going to, you know, they're going to know it's not you. And although we've given the secret away now and it's messed everything up, you need people to still feel like they're talking to the person who is the reason that they're on the list in the first place.
Yeah. And to give, you know, you said we've given the secret away now. Technically we haven't, because, you know, a lot of the stuff that you write is definitely well, let me give people context. Initially, when I started doing emails, and I started doing them back in probably 2017, and it was me, and it was hard graft. And if there was one thing I wasn't consistent with, it was email, because I don't like writing. So we did one a month. Then I went with an agency who probably looked after, you know, maybe 5 to 10 accounts. And it was better because we could do it more. And I'd write a few bullet points and they would repurpose that, so it would contain some of my voice. But then having worked with John now for 2.5 years, and him getting to know me really well, and having been pushed to listen and watch to a lot of my content and stuff like that, sometimes it can just be a voice note that sparks a conversation. Or, you know, John will message me and say, what do you think on this? And then I'll type a few bullet points, or I'll voice note him over. And then, you know, there's added context to what is being written from a direct response point of view. And I think for me, I would rather pay more for that relationship and that specialism that gives it more authenticity. But to give you guys who are starting out, you know, that didn't start like that. That's been part of the journey and the process to get to that point when you realize that email marketing is massively lucrative to any business. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to emphasize that point you made. That is ultimately the key to writing good copy in someone's voice, is having that source material, right? Not only are you're the subject matter expert, you know, over time I've learned various pieces about financial services and mortgage, so I can add some context without having to contact you now. But ultimately, it's like also picking out those, how you phrase something. You know, if there's one thing that is like a massive red flag for an audience, is if you say, like, if I'm writing to mortgage brokers and I start referring to something in a weird way that isn't like the industry lingo, they're gonna like straight away like the game's up, you know.
Yeah, most definitely, and that is so important, isn't it? And it's that, especially with personal brand, or if you're, I've spoken about many a times on the podcast and on the channel that it's so important that your content is you led initially, because that's the thing that differentiates you from everybody else who's in your town, your industry, your business, whatever it is. So I think that is absolutely key, without a doubt. And here's a funny thing for you all. How did I find John? I actually posted in the tiny little village group that I have near me in Essex. I need someone to help manage email marketing. Turns out that John and I were in the same Facebook group back in 2016, and he had seen a lot of the self-employed mortgage stuff that I've been doing, and that's how the relationship initiated. And then we're now 2.5 years on. So it gives you an idea. If I talk about, start local and go from there, you don't know technically who's watching. Email your existing clients and say, I'm looking for somebody to do this for me, potentially. Obviously, if John's got capacity, then I'm sure he'll let you reach out to him. But what's kind of your final piece of words of wisdom in relation to email marketing, John, for anyone who's still currently sitting on the fence or not sure about doing it?
The main thing is control. If you want to be marketing in the most efficient way, you need to be doing email. You don't have control over social media, so you need to be doing it. Even if you're not doing lead gen and you're bringing clients into the business in another way, you at least need to be doing email to speak to your existing clients. Unless you're getting on the phone with them and you have the time to do that every day, which I'm pretty sure you don't, but it's an essential part of every business, I feel.